I'm really excited. Thank you so much for being here. We're really happy for you to join us tonight for our Florida-wide virtual Pink Challah Bake with Mandy Licious. I'm Brianna Schwartz. I'm the Florida Regional Director for Sharsheret. For those of you who are new to Sharsheret, welcome. Just a little bit about us. We help Jewish women and families facing breast and ovarian cancer, as well as those who are at elevated genetic risk through free, confidential, and personalized support and resources. We provide emotional support. My notes just froze. We provide emotional support, mental health counseling, and other programs designed to help navigate someone through the cancer experience. All of Sharsheret services are completely private and one-on-one. Our number is 866-474-2774, and you can also email us at clinicalstaff@sharsheret.org. Both our number and email are now in the chat box. Thank you to our Florida Program Coordinator, Alyssa Love, who is on this call tonight. She is our social worker in Florida, so if you have any questions Sharsheret related, feel free to message her or I in the chat. So before we get started, I want to quickly review some Zoom etiquette, some housekeeping items. Everyone on this call was muted when they entered. Please keep yourself on mute for the remainder of the program. If you have any questions during Mandy's presentation, please type your questions into the chat box and I'll ask them throughout the demonstration. If you would like to remain anonymous, you can turn off your video in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen by clicking Stop Video, or you can call in. We are providing the call-in number in the chat box. And finally, this program is being recorded and we will send it out. We will send out a follow-up email with the recording and it will live on our website. So if you have any questions or want to go back and see how Mandy did it, you can go back and watch our video. It'll be on the website. Only the speakers who are on screen will be part of the recording. So thank you again for joining us tonight for Sharsheret's Pink Challah Bake. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which means pink ribbons are everywhere. We're excited to bring you a Pink Challah Bake virtually this year to raise awareness in our own communities and hopefully spark a conversation at your Shabbat table. This program was made possible with the generous support of the Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County. We also want to thank our partner organizations, the David Mary Alper JCC in Miami, and the Jewish Federation of Greater Orlando. Now, before we get started with Mandy, I want to introduce one of our incredible volunteers and member of our Florida Community Advisory Committee, Leslie, who will be sharing her personal journey with us. Leslie?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Leslie Benzine, and I'm so happy to be here this evening. I wanted to share, after Brianna asked me, a little bit of my story with you so that you could know my background a little bit and how much Sharsheret means to me at this point. About 2012, I was going for my routine mammogram, and so about 9 years ago, October 1st, I was 50 years old and I just went in for my routine October mammogram. I was diagnosed with DCIS. It actually was a stage 0, which I didn't even know there was such a thing as stage 0, but there in fact is, on October 3rd. Thankfully, where I was diagnosed, they used a 3D mammogram. Otherwise, they may not have found it with just a regular mammogram. So I would encourage you to take a note or two if you've not heard of a 3D mammogram. It's extremely valuable. It truly saved me. So I would encourage you to ask that question when you do go for your mammogram. On November 6, 2012, I chose to have a double mastectomy. It was a difficult choice, but I had a family history with both my grandmothers and both my sisters who had breast cancer. And it was a very, very traumatic time in my life, but I had great support from my husband and my family. I also became, which was so cool, friends with the radiologist who found it. And she also was a breast cancer survivor. So she was kind of my sounding board of someone that had been through it beforehand, which was so valuable and so important. And we are still friends to this day. Unfortunately, I knew nothing about Sharsheret, nothing at all. So I was looking and asking, but I never was connected with Sharsheret at this point. So I went ahead and I had 3 surgeries total. And 12 weeks after my last surgery, my husband and I took our first trip to Israel, which, by the way, just to back it up a little bit, we had just paid in full the day before my mammogram. And so I was just a mess about that, thinking we were not going to get to go. And my plastic surgeon, who also happened to be Jewish, kept telling me every appointment, don't cancel that trip. You're going to go on it. And I was able to go on it. So that was awesome. That was a big goal of mine. I kept in touch with my radiologist friend. And once I retired from work, I called her and asked her if there was some way I could give back to the Women's Center where I was diagnosed. And they came up with this plan. They'd never had volunteers before, but they came up with this plan for me. And I began volunteering once a week, helping patients, get changed and prepare for their mammograms and their ultrasounds. But more importantly, they allowed me to speak to women who were diagnosed right then and there and felt just like I had felt, and comfort them and understand where they were and share with them that I totally could relate what they were feeling at that moment. Again, I never knew about Sharsheret, and boy, do I wish I had. But 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to attend a pink bash at our JCC here in Orlando, and I met Brianna, and her personality we just clicked, and I was so inspired that there was someplace, and so sad that I didn't know about it. But moving forward, I was like, I'm going to tell everybody I know. And so I became a peer supporter with Sharsheret. And what that basically means is Sharsheret has a great program where they match you up to, anonymously, really, they match you up to another person that's going through the same similar situation that I did. And you speak on the phone with the person and you just offer support. And I offer my story. I don't advise, but I just support that person through the process. And I love doing that. I've been able to do that a few times. Basically, I would encourage you to read the info about Sharsheret and just go to the website and spread the word. I wish somebody had told me. The other thing that I would want you to know about my story is early detection is key. The pandemic has caused so many people to skip their mammograms, skip their OB/GYN appointments, and even their physicals. But cancer does not take a COVID break. And so I would encourage you, if you have put that aside, I totally get it. I understand why. But I would encourage you to pick up the phone tomorrow and make your appointment that maybe you've been putting off. Find time to see your doctor to take care of you. And the other thing is, please get involved with Sharsheret. It's a wonderful organization, and you'll be so glad that you are a part of it. That's my story.
Oh, Leslie, thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you for sharing your story. It's always inspiring and impactful to hear from members of our own Sharsheret community. So you may be familiar with some of the support services that we offer at Sharsheret, like the peer support network Leslie mentioned, or our amazing staff, genetic counselor, and social workers. We also have free kits that we send in the mail, like a busy box for families with young children, or Best Face Forward kit we send to women to help with cosmetic side effects of treatment, or our Thriving Again kit for those in survivorship, just to name a few of the things we do. But what you might not be aware of is that at Sharsheret, we have an outreach team that provides health education to organizations, healthcare professionals, and synagogue partners all over the country. We offer panel discussions with medical experts on topics such as breast and ovarian cancer awareness, or what you need to know about genetics. And we have the talk discussions on college campuses where we speak to the next generation about the importance of knowing your family's health history. In addition, we also work with communities to have pink challah or babka bakes, where we help plan fun, interactive programs, which includes an educational component. So if you're interested in finding out more about Sharsheret's support services and resources, or planning a program in your community, please email us or visit our website at www.sharsheret.org. There are lots of ways to get involved, whether you connect Sharsheret to your doctors, your school, your synagogue. I also encourage you to follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, to learn about upcoming events and share critical health information. And if you do mention us to someone you know. I want to also encourage you to mention us to someone you know who has been affected by breast or ovarian cancer or is at elevated genetic risk. This pink challah bake may not feel like a life-changing event, but in 5 days or 5 months or 5 years, when someone you know is diagnosed and you connect them or their families to Sharsheret, that right there could be life-changing and even a life-saving moment. So by being here tonight, you are making a difference, and I'm so grateful to have the chance to connect with all of you. With that, we are now excited to welcome Mandy Silverman, also known as Mandylicious, to Sharsheret. Mandy founded Mandylicious in 2013 in Sharon, Massachusetts, which I know from some people on here, they are from Sharon, Massachusetts. We have people on tonight. Since then, she has created over 300 unique challah and babka recipes and has developed a worldwide following. In addition to selling challah and teaching classes, she loves sharing her recipes and tips and supporting others who want to make their own challah. You can follow her and her incredible challah creations on Instagram at Mandylicious Challah. And tonight, her handy dandy assistant, Dannylicious, will be helping her. Mandy will be showing us how to make a really cool braid and a pink strawberry cheesecake challah. So, Mandy, it's time to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you so much, and thank you for the lovely introduction. We are delighted to be here. I am very delighted. An extra special treat that Dannylicious is here because Dannylicious was not supposed to be in town, but then he's like, you know what? I can't miss Sharsheret. And he changed his flight to make sure he was here on time. So I hope you all feel special. I know I feel special, and we'll all feel
happy to be here.
I think he just wanted to be here to make sure that we didn't eat the challah. So, but it's fine. I'll just take it. And and thank you for your help with all the lights. But I really wouldn't know how to do that without you. All right, so tonight we're going to be doing 2 different challahs. One is just a 6-strand, a sassy, simple 6-stranded challah, and anyone can do it. So don't, it's just a great skill to have if you want to make your challahs look a little different, but also you don't want to go too crazy because I know that I can't do anything too crazy with the challah. It's also a great technique to learn. So we're doing 2 kinds of stuffing with the second challah. We're doing inside a strawberry cheesecake challah on the middle, but then we're also doing what I call an inside out stuffing. And that's when we get like another treat that's wrapped around every single strand. And if you're able, we're going to do that in basic 3-strand tonight because it's a sort of a bigger deal. But if you want to work your way up to do a inside out stuffed challah with a 6-strand, the more strands that you inside out a challah, the cooler it looks. I just did an 8-strand inside out cinnamon roll challah.
Really?
Literally,
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we'll start there and we'll level up. So keep all these things in mind, and we're going to combine them. We're actually going to start in the middle because we have to microwave the cream cheese and strawberries together first. So if you haven't chopped your half cup of strawberries, make sure to do that now and get that all ready. And if there's any questions, put them in the chat. I know everyone's going to be trying to help me make sure I see them all. And then the most important thing that we do first, Danny, tell everyone.
Is we wash our hands and brush our teeth.
No.
Every morning.
Really?
And night.
And night.
No.
So, no.
No, I got that all wrong.
No, try again.
Jet lag. No, I was on the same time zone. We put up our hair and wash our hands.
That's right. We like to just take a moment.
I prefer hats for my hair.
Danny's hair. He's got a hair on his hair. He's got a hair on his hair.
That's right. My 16-year-old daughter got 2 of these for her birthday, and I just can't get enough of it. Great.
I think you should wear that on work.
The dog does not like this hat.
He just came for another hat for the house. All right, you're gonna wash your hands. We'll take a minute, and then get out your cream cheese and fresh strawberries and powdered sugars. We're actually going to start with the filling of the cheesecake challah and then come back to it. But we have to microwave it and we have to let it sit for just a minute. So we'll start with that. Hang on, I'm going to wash my hands. Oh, sorry.
All right.
While we're washing our hands, or while we are watching Mandy and Danny wash their hands, I see that questions are already coming into the chat. Thank you so much. We will ask them throughout. I want to let Mandy get started on everything, but I promise we will get to your questions.
Just so everyone knows, we're going to be baking everything at 350, but we don't have, you can preheat your oven now if you want to, but you don't have to, because we're doing a second rise after we create everything. So I know that that's a big question. So, all right. So now we're going to begin with the inside part. So the inside part is going to require you to have a microwave safe bowl, a half cup of fresh strawberries. I guess you can use frozen as well. And then it's a brick of cream cheese. You can use the non-dairy kind as well. And a tablespoon of powdered sugar, which is over there. All right, I'll get that.
Okay, should I put them in the bowl?
They're all going to go in together. It's just whenever I do a pink anything, I love to do that, but it's so hard to come up with a pink challah that doesn't involve food coloring. So I'm sort of like trying to create all these fun things. I've tried strawberries before, but they don't come out pink. I was like, well, you don't want to put rusty pink, or like sometimes it's like fluky pink. So fluky, it's just not right. But then I saw somewhere that if you microwave, or even probably in a stovetop, and cook the strawberries with the cream cheese long enough, the juices from the strawberries come out and they turn it pink. And I tried it and I was shocked because it was amazing and it totally works. So we're gonna put this tablespoon in.
Yep.
Got that.
So this is half a cup strawberries, half a brick cream cheese, and a tablespoon of powdered sugar.
Yes, and we're gonna be microwaving that for the next like 5 minutes or so, and just checking on it once a minute. So it's gonna be a little annoying. So we're gonna, so also when you're doing that, after we're doing that, that's gonna be happening in the background. So and then we'll be just cutting our challah in half and dividing it into 6 equal pieces, because then we're gonna work on the 6th strand. All right, so we're gonna have to do a little multitasking, but because usually I like to do things one at a time, but it's going to be worth it. I think that you guys can do it. You think you can do it? All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our dough. While that's going and everyone's microwaves are microwaving, just go ahead.
You ready?
I think we're ready.
For the hand.
All right. Oh, yeah. So here are our hands. So you have 2 pounds of dough. You might have, or if you're using my recipe, you'll have probably a little closer to 3 pounds of dough.
I don't have many jobs here.
Sorry.
One of them is cutting the dough.
I could have. Sorry. So take one of your dough halves, or if you're sorry, and divide that into 6 equal pieces. But if you're using one whole recipe, if you're using my recipe, divide it in half first, and then divide one of the halves into 6 equal pieces.
Okay, so this is about a pound, which is what we think that's what most people have.
Right.
And then flour the surface, like heavy layer of flour?
No, do not do a heavy layer. Use as little flour as possible.
Just sprinkle the surface.
If you can, because flour actually is one of those things that can mess up your challah. People don't know that because they just want it to be not sticky. But if you want to use as little flour as possible.
I did this again. No, 6 pieces,
it's 6
right?
pieces, that's right. All right, and then I'm going to stir while Danny cuts, but you guys, I know that you guys might be doing both things, so just
we'll go nice and slow.
We're going to go super slow.
I'm going to interrupt real quick because I'm getting some questions in the chat about how long it takes to rise. So how long do you think that it needs to rise? Because some people are go to bed a little earlier tonight. So are we staying up late because this is rising for hours and hours, or is this a quicker rise?
So after it's formed, it's going to be a 20 to 30 minute second rise, which for like the 6th strand will happen probably while we're creating the stuffed 3-strand challah. And then it bakes for the unstuffed one will bake for around 30 minutes-ish, and the stuffed one will bake for around 40 minutes-ish. Does that make sense? So the 6th strand will be done in around 30 minutes after 20 minutes of rising. And the stuffed one will be done in around 40 minutes after 20 minutes of rising. So it should only be like an hour after class from start to finish, hopefully.
Fantastic. And I know what the next question is. Can it, if we make it tonight, can it be baked tomorrow, or how long will it sit for?
It will, I prefer it if you're able to bake it tonight, because the dough continues to rise a little bit, and sometimes you sort of end up with an over rise if you are letting it stay in your fridge. That said, if you need to go ahead and let it sit, just do what you have to do. It'll be fine. It won't. Worst case, you have your strands sort of melted together, but don't worry about that. But that if they do, you'll know why, because they had a little bit too long to rise. But you go ahead and do it.
How do we know when this is done?
It's gonna look pink right now. So this is just after 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you want to keep microwaving those extra few minutes, because what's happening is you want to microwave out all the extra strawberry juice. So here's just right here tonight. the strawberry juice, because the moisture, whenever you use fresh fruit in a challah or fresh vegetables or anything like that, moisture is your challah's enemy, right? It will mess up your dough. If you put just like a layer of like fresh, like berries in sometimes, or bananas or things like that, if you don't cook them first, the moisture releases when it bakes, and then it'll be gummy in the center. So by microwaving this for a little bit longer of a time, as it bakes, the strawberry juice melts out and the more pink color shines through. All right, so that's what we're doing right now with that while we're doing our 6 pieces. So I hope everyone has had a chance to divide their dough into 6 equal pieces. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wanna roll these into, like, if you can roll them into 12-inch long strands, that would be great. However technique that you like to roll, some people do. Danny may demonstrate this kind of roll. I don't know what that's called.
No, that's the rolly roll.
The rolly roll.
And there's the stretchy roll.
Stretchy roll.
There's the lasso.
That would roll. Again, every time. I'm going to put on goggles to protect myself.
Equipment.
But what kind of roll do we like?
We like the butterfly stretch.
We probably do the butterfly stretch because this way is the best way to make sure that both sides of your strand are even. All right. So turning your hand into a butterfly, use the sides of your thumbs to roll them out. But this is also another reason why you don't want to overflour your surface, because if your surface is too floury, your strands are going to go flying and they're not going to have that little stick, that little bit of traction that's needed to make them nice and long. All right. Danny is actually at this point an expert at this, but if you're having a little bit of trouble getting them to be long enough, don't forget, you can really just put your full body weight into that and you're going to be okay. Because it's got bread flour and bread products have gluten in them, and gluten is what makes your dough stick together. So sometimes when you're rolling them, they have a mind of their own. So just keep going. All right, I'm gonna mix my strawberries one more time. Come together nicely.
Right. I sometimes get carried away, so I like when we do the stick strand because I can roll them nice and long. I like rolling flour. It's very therapeutic.
All right. I think that's going to be done after this.
Okay. I'm almost done.
You're doing a great job so far. So everyone is rolling nicely. Yes. The longer you're able to make your strands in a multi-strand challah, the easier it's going to be for you to create this shape. Normally in a 3-strand, when we go to do the 3-strand strawberry challah, I'll tell you to not overroll your dough because it's going to interfere with the rise. So because each of these, so if you roll a 12-inch long snake with a, you're just like, oh, you're into my hand territory, Danny.
Well, I'm out of room.
Too many strands.
Goodness.
Now, if you roll a traditional challah too long, like this long, then oftentimes the dough is stretched so long that there's not enough dough left to rise. Does that make sense? So that's a little quick tip for everyone to know when your 3 strands, if you're noticing that your 3-stranded challahs are not rising quite as much as you like, it could be a function of them being too long, the strands. All right, so that's a good idea. And then you have your 6 strands rolled out. These can be a little bit longer.
They can?
Yes,
Okay.
not this. This is good.
Oh,
these are great. All right. Okay, so I'll give you guys one more minute to roll out your strands and also finish up microwaving your strawberry cream cheese mixture. Be careful if your bowl gets a little hot. You want to use a paper towel or a towel to hold it. And then Danny will come back in here before we start braiding this and we'll show you our microwaved finished product so you can get a good look at it. If you like hold it up, I'm so impressed that this worked. But hopefully when you see it, it's totally pink and it's awesome. It's so pretty. Light is not doing any favors, but it is really nice. So when you're done microwaving it, go ahead and stick it, if you're able to stick it in the freezer or at least the fridge, that will be helpful.
Just to cool it off a little.
We're going to cool it off as much as we can because I don't want anyone to ruin themselves while they.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, put it in the freezer. I think it'll be better. I need to open for it, but I might not. Don't burn yourself. Fabulous. All right. Now that concludes the multitasking portion of our program. Very good job, everyone. It's very hard to multitask and follow, but it was an important, necessary evil. All right. When you're ready, go ahead and have your strands face you. All right. Does that make sense? Make sure that if they are at all sticky, though, you definitely can put a little flour just on your hands or just a little bit on the strand. But be careful not to just dump the flour on. Flour is a trickster. Right, Danny, now we're doing our 6th strand a little different. I've decided this way is better than my original way.
Flipping the script on me.
I know, I'm sorry.
I needed a brief on this.
I know.
You didn't let me know.
I know, this way you're more equal
with
everyone here. All right. So when I was learning how to make challah, it took me long enough to figure out how to do the 3 strand, all right? Like when I started making challah, like at the way beginning, Danny had to braid them all. And like, I was just like, I'm out because it was too hard. And then I started making challah and people were like, can you do more strands? And I'm like, I did 3. Aren't you so proud? But apparently people like to do more strands. So when I was reviewing them, and I was like wanting to do the 6th strand, and a lot of the tutorials online for 6 stranded challahs, they brought me to tears. I cried big manty tears because they were so confusing. Like, I don't know, some of them actually have like arrows and mathematical equations, and I don't know why they have to be so fancy or who they're trying to impress. I mean, it's challah, what's happening? But so finally, after a lot of looking around, I figured out this way to do it, and it's so easy. There's no back and forth. There's no number. It's the same pattern you do the entire braid. All right. And somehow at the end, all the voodoo magic happens and you have a stunning 6-stranded braid, which is different than anything that you'll see otherwise. Okay. Right. So don't worry. We're going to do the 6 strand, but I promise you just have to remember, do you know what the 6 strand is?
I don't remember.
Over 2, under 1, over 2. It'll make a lot more sense when you turn on the magical.
Over 2, under 1, over 2.
It's going to be great.
Okay.
All right. So you can go ahead and hand cam me.
Hand cam.
That sounds inappropriate. All right, here we go. So you have your 6 strands, right? And you're always going to start all the way from the right. But here's a mandulation. This is the change, is that I'm going to go ahead and from the beginning tell you to start in the center of your strand. This will make sure that your 6-stranded challah is equal on both sides, because sometimes when you braid a 3-stranded challah, or any challah, if you start from the top and work your way down, or start from the bottom and work your way up, you somehow end up with like a mermaid tail, which is super cool, but not necessarily what you're looking for, and especially not in this case. So I always want to make sure that it's even, and the best way, even though it seems weird, is to start from the middle. All right. So we're going to start from the middle here.
Still from the right.
Still from the right.
You're talking about going over the middle as opposed to starting at the end.
Yes. At the top. No, we're going to start from the middle. You'll see in one moment. All right. Okay. We'll cozy them up a little bit because making them a nice tight braid is important.
Yep.
All right.
So we're doing over 2.
That's right. So we're going to go take your strand all the way, go over 2, under 1, and then over 2. So that's why they have to be cozy up. All right. You can stretch it to make it work. Cozy them up. Look like wheat. All right. So now, keep them down. These are all, so there we go. That goes up. Over 2 strands. I'll use your strand all the way to the right. Over 2, under 1, over 1, 2, over 2. There you go.
I got lost.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, you got pulled too tight. All right. So you guys can watch one more time because I know it gets a little confusing.
Over 2.
Over 2.
Under one.
Under one.
Over the other two.
That's right. Sometimes you get lost because when you pull it all the way up, you forget about it. But if you count 1, 2 strands that you're going over, it works. You can always pull it to make it work. Over two strands, under 1 strand, over 2 strands. Okay?
Cool.
That's great.
Over 2.
Mm-hmm. Under 1. Oh, they kissed. Under 1.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Under 1. Over two.
I think we're at the end.
All right. And if you can't go any further, what do?
Pinch and tuck.
Pinch and tuck it under. You don't want to go, don't pinch and tuck too early, because if you pinch and tuck too early, it'll floop underneath and it'll make your challah have like a bend to it. So you try to avoid that. All right.
I can already see where this is going.
Okay. So here we go. So this is the bottom half of your challah. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around.
Flip it. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to do the challah flip. Here we go.
Now it looks like an octopus, but it's a
septopus. There you go.
All right. So now, same deal.
Do it again,
all right? You don't have to do anything backwards. The only thing we did was turn it around, right? And then what do? Over 2, under 1, over 2. Exactly. The same exact thing. There's nothing different that we are doing. There's no twisty turnings. All right. I've had people tell me that this was the first time they were able to do a multi-strand, and it makes me so happy because you know what? We are impressing ourselves with it.
I have that song in my head. 1, 2, princess kneel before. That's like braids of challah before you.
No,
who is that?
That's the one place that you saw a concert, remember, in Providence. over 2 strands.
Lots of comments that it's gorgeous, Mandy.
Oh, thanks.
Handiwork.
Yay. Over 2, under 1, over 2. Look at that. All right. And then you have the option of just giving it a little accordion action. That's what I call it, accordion action. But look at that, right? Yes. Yay. So we could, who is so happy? Who did it? And it's so happy. It is so pretty, right? And it wasn't so hard. I get so excited every time.
That's probably my best 6-strand ever.
Best 6-strand
I
ever.
like the build. Very nice.
So let's
Starting
admire
always
it.
helps. All right. And so we put it in the oven?
Nope, it's not time to put it in the oven. Now we get to do the second rise that I was speaking of earlier. We are going to be doing, it's 20 to 30 minutes, so put an eye on your clock right now. You can either bake this in a loaf pan or bake it on a parchment lined cookie sheet.
Like so.
Like so. If you use parchment paper, you don't have to use cam spray or treat it. If you're not using parchment paper, you do need to be sure to treat your surface with cam spray or oil or whatever you normally use. Then go ahead, pop it on.
Yeah.
Easy. And then I just cover it with a towel, not a damp towel, just a regular old towel, not an old towel. Sometimes it's, you don't want to be gross touching your food. But see, Jamie's covering it. It's going to take a little nap for 20 minutes. That's how I do my rice. It's like this 6-strand is not so complicated.
Okay.
All right.
One down.
One down, you guys. How is that?
We have had some questions though, so I am going to share. What about egg, like an egg wash? We had some questions. Someone messaged me about an egg wash.
Egg wash I do after this 20-minute rise. All right. I egg wash before the challah. There's all these people, they say egg wash it now, then egg wash it again, or egg wash in the middle of the oven. I have tried it. I do not see much of a difference. So I just egg wash it right before, but you can do whatever you feel.
I have learned from you that there's 2 things you can't overdo. Kneading and egg wash.
Yeah, it's a lot of egg wash.
Egg wash all you want, as many times as you want.
That's true.
But your choice is to do it before it goes in the oven.
Yeah, and that's good enough. I think it looks just as beautiful.
Cool.
All right. So when we get to that point, we will egg wash, but you don't have to egg wash now. You egg wash later. All right, and then you'll need another egg for that. So if you don't have one, you'll need another egg also for the inside out stuffing part too.
Coming up next.
Yes.
Are there other questions?
I've had a handful of people send me messages with pictures of their challahs. So if anyone wants to angle their camera so they could see it. And I also want to give a shout out. There is a screen with moms playing Mahjong. If you guys want to wait. That is a group of women who are together in Parkland. There's about 30 of them there. So they are braiding and they're participating together. So fun to do with everybody, guys.
Yay. Oh, wow. This is very exciting.
I see and I also see lots of little helpers. So thank you for everyone to making Shar a family night.
That's right. And good job us being appropriate. Where's Nicole? Oh, very nice. That was great.
All right.
You guys are all right. Whew, I feel like I'm done. I feel like I've taught you the sassy symbol 6-strand.
One more.
Good night, everybody. And then I haven't done the pink one. The whole purpose of being is to do the pink one. And I worked so hard.
Pink one. Let's do it.
Okay. You guys ready to do it?
Right.
It's going to be so fun. All right. So when you stuff a challah, all you're doing is you're dividing your dough into 3 equal pieces. So take your second half of your dough that you're using, divide it into 3 equal pieces.
Hand cam. We're going to use a scale.
You do not have to use a scale. If you want to get one, though, I do think they're great if you're going to be doing multiple strands or like little pieces. Sometimes it's nice to have that exact amount. But you don't have to have them. They have, I have them on my Amazon. I have a little Amazon page where I put all my products that I recommend. And I have this scale. This is a big mama scale. That's a little bit for like, if you're hardcore, but honestly, I also put on there, like, it's like a scale. It's like a cookbook. It's so thin. It's smaller than, you can just put it right in. It takes up no space. It's like a really great thing to have.
Inexpensive.
All right.
Amazing what they've done with scales these days.
I know.
They've lost weight.
you are fine
all
tonight.
week I've been repressed humor and it's all here right now.
You guys are so lucky.
All
right. So you have your 3 strands. We're going to go ahead and butterfly stretch them. Sprinkle a little flour down if you need to. All right. How do you feel? Do you feel like you try to
I'm good.
Now, Danny, there he goes again. You want to go ahead and roll them to around 9 to 10 inches long, okay? And you don't have to go so crazy because when we're done with this, we're actually gonna, we're gonna roll them out a little bit more with our rolling pin. And if you don't have a rolling pin, if you have a glass, that'll work, so don't worry.
So really, it's just a couple of stretches and we're there.
You're so close.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I'm going to do this one more time because there's some air bubbles.
Okay, you get it? All right. So now you have your 3 strands. All right, we're going to wait 1 minute to make sure everyone's strands are good. And I'll sprinkle a little, just a little rubby of the flour. There we go.
2 braids kneel before you.
Spin doctors.
Spin doctors.
They have that one song. Okay. I feel like I should get some sort of points for that. All right. So then come in with your rolling pin and you're going to want to roll them. The most important thing you can do here is roll them wide. All right. So if you can get them at least 3 or 4 inches wide, that's going to be a little bit better for you. All right. Because the more width you have, the easier it's going to be for you to stuff it. So I'd say like 4 inches is you're in like a safe zone. All right. It's not 4 inches, you're going to have problems. And in fact, the biggest place where I see people have their issues with a stuffed challah is not rolling it wide enough, because honestly, it's the hardest part and the least fun part. So why would you go ahead and do too much of that?
I'm getting a lot of bounce back. Do you have any tips for that? All
right. So if you find that your challah is giving you a lot, you're so funny, Danny. If you're finding that your challah is doing a lot of bounce,
there's a question that just came to mind.
You can go ahead and use your hands to give it like a little head start, right? Just a little head start, and somehow that head start makes it easier to come in with your rolling pin and stretch it. All right, but keep in mind that gluten that I spoke about earlier is going to be your enemy here. It's going to be wanting your dough to back up, and we don't want that.
So what did you say? Is this about right? Like about 4 by 12, 12 inches long and about 4 inches wide?
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be 12 inches long, but the width is very important, especially because if this is your first time stuffing a challah, you're like jumping to it, like the advanced class, because usually I start with the drier fillings like cookies and cream or chocolate chips. Those are like a little bit easier but we are using a cheesecake filling, which is delicious, but it is a little bit more liquidy. So you definitely are going to want to make sure you have enough width to put the filling in. And also, if you guys you might not be able to use your entire portion of filling, all right? If you have a smaller amount of dough there, if your strands didn't work, don't overdo it, right? You'll do better. You'll try again next time to do more, but the more comfortable you get with stretching the dough and rolling the dough, the more you'll be able to stuff inside. So it's most important now is to set yourself up for success. So when we go to stuff it, if it feels like you have a lot of extra filling, just leave it, dip some pretzels in it later. It's delicious, don't worry about it. But so don't feel like you have to use it all, especially if you're it's more important that you're able to get, just because this is a very, like a more challenging filling. I don't want it to get messy. So I don't want that to happen to you. All right. Just if you do not have enough width in your dough. Dan, you've done a magnificent job.
All right. Going back to the hand cam, I think we're just about there. This third braid was just really acting up.
Was like, sure?
Yeah, it was just being a little sticky.
Man, you are really funny. I'm going to take into that airplane. All right. I want to give you 1 more minute to roll these out and flat and see if there's any questions before we go and get our filling. Are there questions?
There are questions.
Okay.
There is a question in regards going back to the six strand braid that everyone just did about cooking time and temp.
Okay, 350, and that will cook for around 30 minutes at 350, but you're not quite there yet. You need to give it that second rise. Okay, so 350 for 30 minutes until it's golden. All right, but that's how long most unstuffed challahs that are about this size. If you're dealing with the 1 pound of dough, you might want to check it a little bit sooner. So check it like 25 minutes. I always suggest people when they're trying a new recipe to check their ovens a little bit earlier, because everyone's cooking time sometimes vary. So sometimes it might be a little bit longer and sometimes it's a little shorter. So you might want to check, especially if you're using the 1 pound, you might want to check it 25 minutes even, but it should be around 30 minutes is usually about how long it takes.
And for those of you that picked up dough from either Alpert JCC or the Aromas in Cooper City and Boca, your dough is 1 pound per ball. So take Mandy's advice and maybe check it at 25 minutes just to be safe.
I think people take my advice.
And we have some comments in the chat that the pink filling got pinker in the fridge and it looks great.
Yay.
Should we check ours?
I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Oh, it did get pink.
Oh, he told you it's so good. Look at
Danny
that.
Licious confirms.
Confirmed. It is nice and pink.
It is lovely, right? So that all set. Now it's going to look like it's firmed up, but it really didn't. You're going to stir. You're like, what happened? But don't worry. It's going to be fine. All right. So stir it up. So there's going to be like a little skin maybe on top. That should be, that's enough. Don't go crazy.
Well, already did.
All right. So what we're going to do is going to put a layer of this cream cheese filling down the center of your strands. You don't want to put it around the edges. All right. See how, Danny? Just down the center, just like that. All right. Especially because we're stuffing it with cheesecake, but then we're going to inside out stuff it in 1 minute.
I'm not even sure I know what that means. I'm excited to learn.
It's going to happen before you braid it. You've inside out stuff. Remember the
sure
cocoa powder incident?
Well, that's what I was thinking of, but I'm certain, surely you're not going to have me do that with wet filling because it was a disaster with dry filling.
It was not a disaster. It was more of a learning opportunity.
It's more like fun ways to clean up cocoa powder and cinnamon. Okay. How are we doing? Is that the right amount?
That's it. You don't just spread it.
Oh.
Literally keep it nice in the center. If you want to add a little bit more, you can. If you're feeling confident, if you're like, let me just get one thing done at a time, then you don't have to add more. Especially if you're using the smaller balls of dough, you might not have enough. First of all, it just looks cool now.
Yes.
Everyone admire the cool pinkiness.
Let's just stick it in the oven like this.
Wouldn't it be cool? But then I think it would sort of
the purpose.
It would defeat the purpose. All right. So now whenever you stuff a challah, it's just like this. You lift your edges of your dough up and then they kiss on the top and then you pinch it shut. All right. So I'm going to let Amy do that. Stretches and pinch it all the way down. But this is why you see why keeping this border is so important. Because can you imagine if you had cream cheese over on your edges? It would be much more challenging. And for those of you who have cream cheese on your edges, you might be like, yes, Mandy, it is in fact much more challenging, but do not fret.
Yeah, if any does like start to ooze out or is too close to the edge and it leaks out, you just go a little bit more from the outside and find dry pieces of dough and you can kind of pinch it up that way.
Danny speaks from experience. Okay, beautiful, Danny.
Because it really does want to come out. It's like trying to push up and I'm like, no, you stay in.
That's right.
Your job for now is to stay inside filling.
That's right. You tell that filling who's boss.
Stay there.
Get good filling.
Okay, switch. This is really cool. Excited to see how this comes out.
All right.
All right. And I think we're all pinchy pinch.
Hold on, we'll wait 1 second.
Dry wine to ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup and mustard. Hold on.
All right, this one's having a little resistance. There we go. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. All right.
All right, so finishing all that up, getting all your pinchy pinches. Make sure, take a second, everyone, and make sure that your strands are not stuck to your surface because with these, to be very gentle because there's precious cargo inside. All right.
Okay.
All right. So whenever we make an egg wash, it's the glue, right? When you make an egg wash, you put your egg wash on and then
That's how we're doing now.
Yes. We're wait a second. Wait, oh my God, the dog is just when the egg wash is glue. So if you have your egg wash, that's when you're going to put your egg wash and then you'll put on your sprinkles, or you'll put your egg wash and you put your sesame seeds. That is the glue, but much yummier glue. It also makes your challah beautiful and shiny. In this case, we're going to need it for the glue for your inside out stuffing. So this is where you're going to need your 1 cup of freeze-dried strawberries and your 1/2 cup of graham cracker crumbs. All right. Now, if you only found graham cracker crumbs or you only found strawberries, don't worry. These are both, we're just being extra right now.
So I'm now ready. I've got my dried strawberries, I got my graham cracker crumbs, and I got an egg. We're ready to go.
So
ready to rock.
No.
And roll.
No. All right, so let's go, almost. So when you have your graham cracker crumbs and milk, and you have your strawberries, we're gonna wanna squish the strawberries. You're gonna love this. So take your dehydrated strawberries, and you can put them in a bag or a bowl. I used a Ziploc bag for mine. To crush it up.
No. Ziploc bag.
Right, so I'm gonna put the strawberries in there.
I didn't see this coming at all. Okay.
I told you, it's gonna be a whole new ball of beans. Put your dehydrated strawberries in the bag or whatever you have to squish it in. No, you don't have to do that yet.
Oh.
We're squishing the strawberries.
Just the strawberries.
Yeah, the graham cracker come in crumb form.
And I crunch it
yeah,
up?
You can crunch it up with your hands. You can crunch it up with your rolling pin. You can just, it's really fun. Are you enjoying it?
It's a lot of, it's like, yeah, it's fun.
I really enjoy doing this. I think I might have made this recipe just so I could squish dehydrated strawberries. I found a lot of weird joy. People like stress heads or silly funny, like fidgets, whatever. I just like to crush things.
I have lots of fidgets. See, crush things would work on conference calls. What is that? Can you go on mute? Somebody needs to go on mute.
It'd be easier if you want to use the rolling pin. And it's just as fun. All right, I'm gonna move these guys. Oh, you're just taking over. Don't accidentally hit your strand.
There isn't really.
Maybe a little piece. Have to be perfectly. Sometimes that little texture is nice.
Okay.
All right. Then you'll combine your graham cracker crumbs with your strawberries.
In the bag.
I'm going to put them in a bowl.
Oh, now they're going in a bowl.
Yep.
You are keeping it spicy tonight.
I'm just trying to make it easier for you.
Nice.
Lovely.
And now the graham cracker crumbs.
Yours. Ouch.
Sorry.
All right, so you have little flecks of pink and strawberry. And they're actually, like the little dehydrated strawberries, they add a really nice little boost of flavor. So that's great. All right, so you have your mixture, and you can add more or less graham cracker crumbs, more or less strawberries if you want to be. This is just for you, all right? Great, so we'll set that aside. Mm-hmm. Now for egg wash, for this, you just need a whole egg. Sometimes I say use an egg yolk with water if you want, but for this, I'm saying don't even bother with it, just use the whole egg.
I need to learn how to do some egg magic tricks to entertain while you're talking. It's like, disappears.
That would be amazing.
But the biggest trick of all is to not get shell.
Yes,
so let's just focus on that.
Everyone focus on not getting shells. We do.
You did it.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
No shell, shell-free.
All right.
All right, and then whisk it really well. This right here is an area where people, I don't want to say that it's a mistake, but it's an easy fix if people are having issues with their egg wash. Because the yellow of your egg is the only part that gives your challah any color, it's also, if it's not blended completely in with your egg white, you'll see the streaks of yellow. And sometimes you might, I usually in general don't add any extra water when I just do a whole egg, because the white acts as the, the egg white acts as the breaking up of the yellow, because if you just use the yolk, what happens is it browns much faster and your challah will look like it's all cooked, but it will be raw in the center because the egg's too good in temperature, which is why it's really important if you're just using the egg yolk to mix it with water, or if you're using a whole egg to make sure you beat it really well. All right, so that's just extra information. But right now we're going to take this egg yolk mixture and we're going to egg wash our challahs like this. Okay.
And what happens if they don't have like a brush?
You can go ahead and use a paper towel. It works fantastic.
That's a great life hack.
Life hack number 10.
When we used to do classes in person, or more in person, so when we used to do classes in person, it was easier to bring a roll of paper towel than 25 basting brushes. It works just great.
While you're doing that, Mandy, can you give a quick recap again for a couple people signed in a little late and asked if you could just quickly explain what was in the filling one more time?
Sure. The filling is a half cup of fresh strawberries. I guess they could also be frozen if you don't have fresh. chopped, a half cup of chopped strawberries, and then a half a brick of cream cheese. You can use the non-dairy kind, and a tablespoon or so of powdered sugar. And then you microwave that in like minute installments, around 3 to 5 minutes, until it gets nice and pink and a lot of the liquid is cooked out. Then you want to stick that in the freezer for around 15 minutes, just so it is a little easier to deal with when you stuff it in the challah. All right, that was the filling. And then we stuffed it in here.
Okay.
All right.
And then this again is what?
And this is going to be our inside out filling, our graham cracker crust inside out. So we've made it a layer of egg yolk, of egg wash here. And now cover that entirely with this mixture. You can go nice and slow so it'll stay. You get the sides. Fantastic. Here you go. Because you're going to have to do the other side. You don't want to.
I thought you said to do the sides.
No, they did, but you want to make sure to get them. You're doing a great job so far.
So far.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Smells great. Smells like strawberry cheesecake. Go figure.
All right. So once this is all done and your crumbs are coating this side, we're actually to do an inside out stuff. It means you have to coat the entire strand, both sides, with your filling of your coating. So this is great. It works well even with plain challah. If you use anything darker, so we've got graham cracker crumbs and we've got strawberries here. But if you ever want to do the traditional challah or 6-strand, use like poppy seeds or paprika or sumac.
Are you rolling these or flipping them?
You're flipping them. Those darker fillings will show up better because it's going to make a really cool slice when you're done. So that's why we do a little darker things on the outside. All right. So now we flipped the 3 strands over.
I'm going to egg wash this side.
Yep, exactly.
So
smart, Danny. You're also going to challah mensa. I'm so proud. I'll write your parents.
So one of the things I was at this meeting all week, and today I taught a class on early career fundamentals, and it was all of the new joiners in the company, and the average age in the room was about 24. And it was like,
so only 5 years younger than us.
I felt like
amazing.
It was really funny. I don't know why I just mentioned that. I was connected to something you just said.
I have no idea why.
I don't remember
but
why,
I'm captivated by it.
Anyway, that was the story.
I forgot that meeting was today. You really are one of the old people in that room.
It was.
You look great though.
Okay, we're egg washed.
Beautiful. And now you repeat the same thing. We're going to take all those crumbs and coat your strands the best you can. All right. I won't help. I'm not get in trouble.
Yes, because then we're going twice as fast as everybody else.
I know.
It really is kind of fun though. All right, I'm trying to get the sides as much as we can. Get all the bare spots. Not you, Bear.
I see some comments that I get comments directly to me, but they're saying how beautiful it looks and it's delicious looking also.
Yes, woohoo! This is great. You guys are gonna be so excited. If you guys can stay up and then have it tonight. Remember when I made the test one and then we had it and it was a little bit warm and it was amazing? Amazing, you guys. Like, woo! Sorry, I'm all excited.
I am too.
I do like myself a nice cheesecake cup.
All right.
So now you see that your strands are entirely covered inside outly with your fun topping here. All right, so we're going to clean up your area. Take a moment to brush aside any extra crumbs that you might have. Go ahead and pour them like into a bowl or wherever is convenient for you.
Okay.
And now we're going to braid this. Now, just like we did from the center for the 6-strand, we're going to also braid from the center for the 3-strand, just because I really want to make sure it's even. Now, if for some reason you just really love to braid challah from the top or the bottom, you go for it. But I'm going to show you how I do my traditional 3-strand braid. All right, and I start from the bottom. And I tell the rule is that everyone takes a turn in the middle. All right. So this is the middle strand. These are the two outside strands. And everybody wants a turn to be this strand. All right. That's the rule. And now, because we're starting on the bottom, to have your turn, you have to go on the bottom of this. All right. So this is the center strand. He wants a turn in the middle. He's going to go on the bottom.
Sorry.
Move.
Underneath.
There we go. Beautiful.
Right.
Now look, now he's in the middle.
Ooh, he's in the middle. He's so happy.
Joy.
Now this guy's like, my turn.
Exactly.
You're like, okay, I'll let you in. Under, because we're at the bottom.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Ta-da! Now we have begun the braiding process.
So now we're going to start
thing, back and
right,
forth.
Under, from the left, under.
Everyone taking a turn
from the
middle.
right.
But be gentle, you guys, because I don't know if you know this, but there's cheesecake in there.
There's filling on board.
It's a surprise.
Shh. And at the end again.
Pinchy, pinch, pinch.
I don't know if they can see that's a little off camera.
And tuck.
Okay.
All right. Now, unlike the sixth strand, we can do this one easily, just the other way.
Without having to flip it
around. The best thing to do here is just, everyone wants to turn in the middle, but because we're on the top of the strand, we're going to go on top to take the turns. And because we're working on the opposite side of the challah, we're going to do, we'll start from the opposite side. So we start from the right this time, last time, now we'll start from the left.
Okay, so this, because we're at the top, we're going over.
That's right,
time.
on the top
from
of
the
the
left,
center strand.
Over from the right, over from the left. And I'm just giving it a little pull as I go.
Gentle, gentle.
Gentle, gentle, so it doesn't pop. And a little pinch and tuck.
Beautiful. Look at that. Yes. Who's excited? Raise your hand. I am excited.
I'm excited.
I am.
Sprinkle a little more on top. Is that okay?
Go for it. What I will say is for these challahs that are inside out stuffed, you don't have to put any additional egg wash on top, but if you see any like blank spaces before you pop it in the oven, you might want to go ahead and egg wash it a little bit extra, just put a little extra topping on it because you want to coat it. All right. Now this has to rise also for 20 to 30 minutes on a parchment lined cookie sheet or a sprayed loaf pan. All right.
I have another one right here.
So
already.
Convenient.
Amazing. Here we go.
All right, can you show them? It's going to be great. Are you excited?
Ooh,
Thank you for the sound effect. I know
someone messaged me, just wow. And also for those of you asking, yes, this is recorded and it will be emailed to everyone afterwards, and it will live on Trisharet's website. So we will get to see Mandy's amazing braiding techniques whenever we want.
Awesome.
So we're on Instagram. They're on Instagram.
On Instagram. I do like the Instagram. Actually, I'm very confused by the Instagram, but I'm able to help you out somehow. So just message me. I can barely figure it out. But I know how to message. All right, now we're going to go back to the egg washing. So if you have your six strand, now we're ready to go ahead. It's actually been the right amount of time. So I'm going to show you one quick trick on egg washing. So we have our egg wash left over from our other challah. When you egg wash anything, but challah especially, because it has all these little divots and bumps, egg wash sometimes will pool in these little divots and bumps, and you sort of like, it looks like, you ever have a perfect challah and then there's like a little like an omelet, just like right in one of the things, which is a whole other challah flavor. But if you start from the outside and work your way in, what that does is cleans off your brush as you go along. All right, and cleaning off your brush as you go along, make sure that you don't have any extra egg to go into the little cute spaces that you created. Okay. Amazing. All right, so go ahead. It's been 20 minutes. If you finished around the same time as me, you can pop that in the oven. If you want to put any toppings on it, if you want to, really I know, if you want to put, make challah lighting. It looks slender. You can put, if you have extra graham cracker crumbs and you want to use some of those for your, you can totally do that. Anything you want. Right now, poppy seeds, sprinkles, chili lime seasoning, shawarma seasoning, other fun things we put in our.
Is that a pound?
No, I don't know what.
30 minutes?
So try it for 30 minutes.
Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes.
All right. 30 minutes is at 350. Also, I would just like to say for 1 minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That
I'm sharing our countertop.
That's all right.
I forgot to change it.
I do them with hand action.
Oh.
But Alexa listens to Danny.
He's going to teach us sign language. Really? And then you'll be able to use your hands.
Oh, that would be very good.
Anyway, sorry.
Our daughter's taking sign language and she's really good at it.
Kids.
I'm very proud. All right. So now the same thing's going to go for this challah. So that's going to just put on 20 minutes on your Alexa or whatever now. And then the only difference is between a stuffed and an unstuffed challah is the amount of time it takes to bake, and it depends on the filling. So if you didn't get a lot of filling in, it might actually just only take 30 minutes. But if you had a lot of filling, then it might take a little bit more, sometimes up to 10 minutes more. So just keep an eye on it. You want to, so this is the 6 strand. What the 6 strand is going to look like baked. Oh, the hand cam. Here we go. Ta-da. There you go. So very cool.
Yeah.
All the little bumps. I use it with vodka.
Oh, what is wrong?
Beautiful.
All right.
There we go. It's super cool.
Is there a helpful way to know when it's done cooking while I'm holding this?
Any time looking at, so the middle, the top center is the place where it cooks the last. It's going to cook outside, and then it goes to the inside. So that's where you're going to look to see if it's set. And the dough sort of stretches and looks baked there, then you're done. So thready belly is what I call it.
Okay.
So that's a good place to look. This came out super cool.
Very pretty.
It's made of babka dough because it doesn't look bad because it's made out of babka dough. I think it's good. It's actually babka. I'm very curious to see what it tastes like. So there's nothing in it. Just probably boring chocolate.
Okay.
But now we are done. You guys are amazing. You've inside out, you stuffed, you made a secret. That was a lot to do in an hour.
It's a lot.
We did it. What questions can I answer?
Do we have any questions in the chat? I think you were answering them as we went along. I kept interrupting. I'm sorry. I know we had put earlier in the chat, we had put the baking time and temperature in there. So we can put that back up. Any other questions? We're putting it back in the chat. Anyone want to show us their challah? Anyone want to hold theirs up on screen? I'm happy to share my six. It's
beautiful.
You did great. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Oh, yes.
Very nice.
Oh, I see Lindsay's got 2 on the stove. Looks great. Eileen, I see. Great work.
Oh, look at Beth. Oh, it's so pink.
Beth has some good pink ones over there.
Amazing.
I'm very impressed. And if any of you are on Instagram, make sure you tag me in your big finished work so I can put my story. I love that.
Tag Mandy and tag Sharshara. Devora is asking about any other tips you may have about knowing when it is done. You mentioned the thread. Is there any other way to check it when it's in the oven?
My biggest tip is the top center. So many people will let it go too long because they think it has to be like super dark all over or perfectly equally browned, but it's just that top center. Don't ignore every other part of your challah, just that top center. Some people like to use like a thermometer in their dough that you can't really use for a stuffed challah so much.
Because the filling is hotter than the dough.
Yeah,
so
I just have a graham cracker come in my eye. I'm a stuffed challah now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my biggest tip. But also like play around with your oven. A big thing also just for timing wise is making sure that your oven is at the proper temperature. If you're finding that your challahs are consistently looking darker, but then you cut into them and they're raw, it's possible that either your egg wash does not have enough water in it, or your oven temperature might be just a little bit off. And even if you cook your challah, if your oven has sort of just gradually over the years increased or decreased in temperature, that could have a huge effect. So actually it happened to me. So I bought oven thermometers. I just pop them in there and I can always check and make sure that my oven is sort of it's not a liar and it is the temperature that it says it is.
Yes.
So that's
that was many days of frustration.
Yes.
Before we realized it was the oven, not the dough.
Yes.
That was the problem.
And they came and they fixed it, but it was great. Also make sure that your challah is not being cooked too close to the heating element, because that will also cause your challah to look done, but then not be done.
But we're getting a lot of thank yous. A lot of gratitude in the chat. It's coming to me, but I'm telling you, Mandy, it's here.
Believe you.
So thank you, Mandy Licious. Thank you, Danny Licious. If there's no more questions, I just want to say that this was amazing. I'm really glad to be able to join so many people from Florida to make our challahs together, to raise awareness about breast and ovarian cancer together. And hopefully you will eat these together with your families and they will spark a conversation at your Shabbat table. Like we said, I recommend that you follow at Mandylicious Challah on Instagram. Check out her page to see more of her incredible and innovative recipes and to find out about her upcoming classes. If you do post pictures of your challahs, and we really hope you do, please tag us at Sharsheret Official and show us your finished challahs, show us you enjoying them. So tag us and tag Mandylicious. We are going to put a survey in the chat box, a link to a survey. Please take a moment and fill out this brief evaluation. Evaluations really do inform future programming at Sharsheret, so thank you in advance for filling it out. And finally, I want to let you know about a few upcoming Sharsheret webinars. On Monday, this coming Monday, at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have a Sharsheret in the Kitchen program. So I know all of you like baking, and now we're connoisseurs of challah, but you can join Sisters New York Times best-selling cookbook author Adina Sussman and registered dietitian nutritionist Sharon Weeder as they make mouthwatering side dishes and share food swaps to make your meals healthier. You can also learn then about Sharsheret's Pies for Prevention Thanksgiving sale, which was launched in 2008 by Adina and Sharon in memory of their mother and grandmother. The link to register for that program is in the chat. And if you're interested in Pies for Prevention and bringing a sale to your area in Florida, please feel free to let us know. Also, on Wednesday, October 27th at 7:30 p.m., we have a webinar on breast cancer and menopause. Please join us for a panel discussion featuring Dr. Kate Lampin-Sackar, a breast radiologist from Miami Cancer Institute, and Sharsheret's very own Peggy Cottrell, our genetic counselor. This program will include information about screening recommendations and resources available to those who are at elevated risk for or have been diagnosed with breast cancer. So from all of us at Sharsheret, we want to thank you for your participation tonight. We hope you enjoyed the program. We hope you made beautiful and delicious pink-inspired challah. And we hope that you are inspired yourselves to raise awareness and have important conversations with your loved ones. Mandy and Danny, thank you again.
And we have a finished challah if you want to see the slice.
Oh, yes, we want to see. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Here, look at that. See? So if you can tell, there's like the chunks of strawberry. I've got my own slice here. And then you can see the layers of the inside out part of the stuffing and the cream cheese filling. So if you can imagine how when I say that every time you do a multiple stranded braid, how it looks more and more cool. So like, it looks great. This was just 3 strands. So just imagine if you did something like this with like the 6th strand that we just did, even cooler, right?
Amazing. Amazing. And we've got a lot of people in the chat saying they follow you and they love watching your challah creation. So thank you again.
I'm so happy.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And don't forget to tag Sharsheret and Mandy in your pictures of challah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.